Oh God, Dinesh D'Souza.
You know, I watched one of his movies, or I tried to. I think it's Hillary. It might be Hillary's America. Like
Hmm.
they all have names like that. It's the one where like he's in jail and like he's doing like a really long recreation of him being like in the world's most lax prison, where he just like it's basically like a day camp for boys. So
Yeah.
you know, I would hazard taking anything he says seriously.
Well, I mean, that's not the goal here. The goal is to mock him. We should say he was in prison for campaign finance violations, and
One of the
can he vote
easiest
as a
crimes.
convicted felon?
Well, he was pardoned by Trump.
Oh,
One of the
forgot.
easiest crimes to get away with in America, we have to point out, like to be caught up on like a campaign financing scheme is, you know,
A special kind of stupid to actually get caught doing that when it's super easy to get away with it on the
well,
reg.
yeah. Because if I recall properly, what he did was, he would just max out his donations to a candidate, and then he would just
Yeah.
give money to his friend and say, "Give this money to the candidate." Like basically the only way to get caught breaking that rule.
Yeah, dude, give it to a super PAC. Then you can do unlimited spending on behalf of the candidate. But maybe his ego was too large and he wanted at least to be associated with it in some way, knowing that it directly went to the candidate. But just to, like, for people to understand how stupid this person is, he is somebody who's been in conservative circles for quite a while, and now he is trying to make a bit of a comeback after that imprisonment. Here he is talking about how Mark Milley of the Biden administration is soft and wants our troops to be completely asexual or whatever it is. It's all a part of the larger project that we're too soft to stay in Afghanistan, and that's because because of his critical race theory speech, I guess.
Threat from Islamic terrorism looms largest. White supremacy is a borderline joke, in my opinion. Dinesh, when you see that, what are your thoughts?
I mean, this is just absolutely laughable. And I think what's scary is that we're not just seeing this on the part of the media, but this is also part of the doctrine of the Defense Department. It's the doctrine of our intelligence agencies. It's the doctrine of the CIA and the FBI. So
Pause it
imagine,
for a second.
Here is General.
Think about how this is fundamentally I'm just pausing it for 1 second. Think about how this is basically the same argument that Glenn Greenwald and others have been making about the wokeness of the military, but just in terms of what audience this is designed to attract.
CIA and the FBI. So imagine, here is General Milley, and he's talking about the fact that he's trying to understand white rage. And meanwhile, what is the Taliban doing? They're planning their final coordinated assault on Kabul. So the Taliban knows exactly what they're doing. Here's General Milley having fantasies of I don't know what, putting troops in high heels, maybe transgender surgeries, transgender bathrooms. So we have our eye off the ball. They have their eye on the ball. And it shows you how a peasant army of a few thousand people, but with determination and ruthless purpose, can in a sense defeat the most powerful military in the world.
You really got to
if
give credit to the
powerful military
Taliban.
is thinking about fantasies about putting on a dress.
So it sounds like that's your fantasy, but I mean, no one really brought that up. You seem to be bringing that up quite a bit.
Right wingers are tripping over themselves to like congratulate the Taliban for demonstrating that America is just too cucked by ideology to do imperialism properly.
And that serves exactly what we were talking about earlier, right? When you make this about an ideological battle between separate sides, now you get to serve the right wingers' interests, and they say, oh, we're too liberal and we're too left and we're too inclusive to trans people to actually adequately fight the ideology of the Taliban, where he simultaneously praises them and calls them peasants. So that's an incomprehensible point. But when you distract on the left, and when you're a part of this discussion surrounding what we did in Afghanistan and what we did with our imperialism, make it about power structures and make it about capitalism, make it about imperialism, or otherwise, this is the exact kind of conversation you're wading into even unknowingly.
Well, and just a note on the Greenwald thing, my understanding was what Greenwald did was not so much attack the military for being woke, but defend J.D. Vance's right to question whether the military was so woke. That is J.D. Vance, the Peter Thiel candidate. So just to correct that there.
Okay, well, it's one step away.
What does the military being too woke mean? I don't understand that. Like, people just say it like it means something, but like, is it because they have like EO rules or something, or do like they have
Well,
like
gay people can serve in the military and women are allowed. And now, the CIA is putting out videos of how they are inclusive and how they're intersectional. That's like the cultural critique that they're engaging in.
I mean, well, I have to say it, but that's because a lot of these people, the JD Vances of the world, like, you got to be inclusive because people like that don't want to fight. They just want to go on the news. They want to, complain about the military being too woke. But then you ask them like 5 push-ups and they're like, actually, I'm not the rugged kind of man. I'm more of a talker. Like you can only take it so seriously.
Whole thing, right? I mean, he wants to bomb the hell out of everybody that is Palestinian or Muslim, and then not necessarily wants to get his hands dirty doing it though.
It doesn't impress me when like right wingers just go like, we should stay in Afghanistan, like Giga Chad image, and it's like, you can just lift. Like, you don't have to just post you don't have to just like post a photo of a rip guy. You could just lift. It speaks to a level of insecurity. And, at the end of the day, it's like these people, like, I don't understand what the end goal for their institution of the military actually is. Like, what do they want it to look like? I mean, what does a rugged American military look like if it doesn't look like occupying every country in the entire world?
Yeah. It's like they not only does this go back to sort of a don't ask, don't tell sort of resentment, but this goes back to like, we want to be able to do My Lai massacres and not have any sort of accountability for it.
Yeah. Also, I mean, I'm not exactly sure what the Taliban's outfits are, but there's like a lot of loose flowing fabric. Kind of looks like a dress. Maybe that's the solution. Get all of our military members to dress in high heels and dresses, and then we'll be able to fight on our own terms.
I mean, tactically, maybe that would work better than what we have been doing.
Probably. I would love to cut our military budget and then send a good proportion of it to dressing our military members in little tutus. That would be wonderful. Good allocation of our resources. Better than what we've been doing.
Folks, there's more of what you've just saw where that came from. That's if you hit the subscribe and like button. Thank you. Really, thank you.